I represent an organization known as Palle Srujana. In Telugu, it means Palle is a village, Srujana is creativity. We believe that the villages and villagers have lots of creativity, which is not tapped as a separate issue, which is not understood by many of us, we guess. So we thought, why not we concentrate on something which not much has been done in that regard. So it all started with Professor Anil Gupta way back in 89. And then we started in Andhra Pradesh in 2005 to try to capture the creativity of the people in the villages in every part of life. In my understanding, village is livelihood. There's no industry, there's no government, there's only livelihood. Everything is livelihood for them. And their livelihood means interacting with nature. They get up in the morning, they deal with water, they deal with grass, they deal with animals, they deal with the mud, they deal with fire. It is an interaction with the Panchabhuta. The nature is what their livelihood is. So when you talk about livelihood, don't talk about technologies, talk about nature. And if we talk about how to handle the nature, livelihood emerges out of it. And when like Aruna said, nature is something which changes every second perhaps. Kshan badalta rehta hai. So changing nature, a professional like a villager handles the change, copes with the change, and produces something out of it. I think it's a very daunting task because we are insensitive to change. If the mic doesn't work, I become inefficient. In an industry, if one particular assembly line stops, everything stops. Our technology is insensitive to change. And we don't like changes. We are built like that. Then we want a platform like Saddaha to learn how to accept change. So we have created a problem in our education, in our environment, in our growth, in our sanskar. When you live in the nature, accept with the nature, change comes automatically to how to handle it. बच्चा पानी में कूदता है तो देखता नहीं कि कितना गांव में पानी में कूदने वाले को doesn't matter how deep it is. यहाँ पहले लिखा रहता है स्विमिंग पूल में 5, 10, 12, 13. So the kind of lot of things come up when you go with the nature. So those who cope with such change and produce day in and day out for their livelihood and for our living, I think they are the biggest and most competent professionals of the world. We believe in that. I hope all of us to believe in that. When you believe such things, we start developing respect towards them. When you start respecting somebody, you start trusting them. When you trust someone, the communication opens up and the knowledge flows. So the sequence of respect, trust, and communication, can't break it, no shortcuts, please. You got to follow that. Everyone you start respecting in front of you, I'm sure he will, at some stage after trusting you and mutual trust, they start opening up and sharing knowledge. That's what we try to do in the villages. We try to respect everyone in front of us because they are good in their way. They are best in their knowledge, in their domain knowledge. People are poor, but they have heads. They have minds. We can't say poor people have no knowledge. Only educated people have knowledge. So that if we get out of this syndrome of information knowledge is available only with educated people or people on the higher spectrum, then so much, 60 to 70% of the people in the villages have so much knowledge. Are we tapping them? Imagine the number of people, number of experience, number of years they have lived with the harmony with the nature. What are we doing about it? And that knowledge, if we tap it and use it for the nation's growth and building comfort to the whole world, I think two things will certainly happen. A, sustainability will improve. B, equity also gets established. But if we reject them as they are only sinks and not source, you tell them that they're only bottomless wells and they have nothing to provide us, and they're only consumers, and that's not very fair. So this revelation came to us not when I was very young, but it came after 60 years of my life. And I'm sure you are luckier because you are coming very early into this, that much advanced society. We got connected with these people who are less than went to school to society. And their creations and impact was so good, they got national, international awards. The recognition everywhere. Somebody is the Forbes list, somebody is the President of India awards, somebody is the TED.com talk. They never went to schools. When we realize that there is really so much of worth in them, that's why internationally they have been recognized. So we have to go forward and keep on connecting them as many as possible, identify them as many as possible, walk into the villages, meet them, start getting their trust and confidence, and then they will share with us, and that we must spread. Not only for recognition, but for the use of other similar people. Actually, what do? I'll keep giving examples, that's better. Pochampalli sari, we all know. Are wearing one? No. Yeah, even I see very rarely saris. A lady has to move her hand over a distance of 4 feet, winding the thread across steel pins, 1 pin one side, 40 pins other side, 41 pins total. And she has to move 9,000 times to do that. It takes about 5 hours, an expert lady. 9,000 times. And unless this is the first step for making a tie and dye sari, silk sari, cotton sari in Pochampalli. This is known as the ASU process. ASU poedamantaru Telugulo. ASU. Now this is typically given to the women because men are the decision makers. I asked the men, why don't you do it? No, sir, adologist, sir, magaval chair. So, and there's a lot of skills required because each pin, you have to give various layers depending on design. So one pin you have 2 layers, second pin you have 3 layers. You have to remember them and keep doing it. And every lady, when she gets up in the morning, besides doing her chores, normal household chores, she has to do this sometimes 1 or sometimes 2 in a day. 2 means 18,000 times a day. And it has to be done in daytime, not in the night time. And having done that, then it is given a design is marked on that. Then a rubber is tied. Then it is dyed. Then the thread is put on the spindles. Then it goes to the loom for final weaving. So that is the pre-loom process. The first process, ASU. Look at the drudgery of the women. And it's going on for the last 65 years. And I am also part of Usman Engineering College. I didn't know about it. Most of you, those who are buying saris, those who are wearing saris also do not know about this pain. Now this pain is to be, the mother used to cry, Mallesham's mother. Mallesham was a child. She used to make her sit in the lap and say, look, every day my shoulder is going and I'm suffering every day. She used to cry. So the child helplessly looks into her mother's eyes and he didn't know what to do. But when he failed his 6th standard, then he decided that, let me reduce the pain of my mother. So it took 7 years to solve the problem. He automated the whole process. A person from the village, 6th standard dropout from a small village, Shirajpet, Naled district, he automated the entire process of a woman using that hand, doing up and down. It took 7 years. Imagine, my dear engineers and brilliant people, to automate 26 processes in 3 dimensions. That's the kind of a complexity of the job. A person from village did it in 7 years. What kind of a journey it could have been? I don't know how many of you walked in a forest where there's no path is there. It could be worse than this, what he did. An amazing story. I won't take that on much time, but there's some other stories I won't tell you. And when the machine does, without a lady's attendance, machine does in 1.5 hours the same job which a lady does in 5 hours. And the cost of electricity is 2 rupees, and the quality and errors are less, quality is better. In all respects, it's a win-win situation. Now, people may ask, what does the lady do? Now, she's unemployed. There are some people in society, they say, automation is unemployment. I don't think it is so, especially at the level of the villagers, because they believe in economy. And without money, they can't live, or it's a livelihood. The lady started doing now the pre-loom activity, which otherwise men were doing. Like designing or tying or coloring, various activities the men were doing earlier because ladies were busy in the ASU process. Now when the women, when they got free from ASU, they went to this. So what the men doing? They got 2 hours extra sitting on the loom. So they made 25% additional production with ASU machine at home. The health was there, health in the family, and then the production has increased. Then the girls don't go to colleges after school because they were employed in the ASU. Because the production of Pochampalli sarees is directly related to number of ASU you do every day. The production capacity constantly limited by number of women employed every day in the ASU. That is the kind of industry we have and never changed it all these years. Mallesham removed the capacity constraint of our industry. Tell me one innovation in the world. Technological innovation removed the capacity constraint of our industry. A Malaysian removed it. And the girls go to college and they call up Malaysian manna, nee valla nenu college pothunna, nee valla nenu degree chestunna. Get the social difference. Everintlo automation ledu akkada pillar ivaru. They don't give a girl there's no automation in the family because the girl has to work. Economically, everywhere is so good. So we were fortunate to meet him. We got connected. And this ASO machine, if it has to be 3,000 are required, we could get only 200 by going to people like you and the whole world. Government has not responded for the last 10 years. We are still working on it. 1, 2, 3, 4 governments. Every fifth one has come. I hope they do a better job. So the problem is there. Solution is there. But connectivity is not yet done. We are trying hard. That gives impact on the people. Imagine permanent removal of drudgery. What a solution. What a solution. And all of us, none of us even close by also, we do not know. Now, impact is what? Health, economy, economically, socially, culturally, and sort of a self-esteem that my own family boy, my own community man could solve the problem. And he is now, put Malaysian, you get 100 pages of Google. He's all over. He's all over, everywhere. He's also, he is a corporate leadership here, course of corporate leadership, he is a case study there. So such kind of a brilliance is there we have. This is one, is a Malaysian, and those who want to visit him, he is nearby Aler. All the engineers who are already engineers or going to be engineers or retired engineers, please visit him and see how he did it. It's a big story. I take a long time to do because I'm passionate about it. I met him in 2007, and since then it's an amazing story. He never stops. He still works for the people, his community, to improve new innovations so that they reduce their drudgery. We have something like this as a boy known as Brahmachari in Warangal district. I speak more about Andhra Pradesh innovations, both the states. Now, you know, the people when they want transport, they have from walking to the airplane, or maybe space rockets now. But when it comes to farm equipment, we don't have that variety. The variety is only given to the top 10% who can afford huge tractors, huge harvesters, huge things. We are not given hand tools or small tools for the small farmers. There is not industry or science or engineers. Nobody could have did this. Because we ape the Western philosophy of designing, because there is no manpower. They go by automation because it replaces the human beings. But we ape the same design philosophy here, and we only made machines for people who can afford the top 5-10% of the country's farmers. You may be aware that 90% of the people in this country hold less than 2 hectares land, and they can't afford to buy a tractor. So all the 65 years, my dear friends, the farm equipment provided by the government, ICAR and the industry is only for the top 10%. What kind of justice is this? How skewed it is? You need change or you need total overhaul. It's not a small change, it's a big change required. Now, people don't keep quiet. If something injustice takes place, you're denied, you're frustrated, they have 2 options. When I get angry. When I get angry, I can become an insurgent. I can fight with system. Fight can be with words, fight can be with bullets, fight can be with anything. But you become insurgent, you become a rebellion, you take the path of confrontation. This is one method when you get angry. This is one of the things came out of anger. Something is missing. Maybe moderate anger. Now, but the other method is that people, when they get angry, they become innovators. Because they want to solve the problem. And they say, let's do solve it. They don't worry about what capacities they have, what resources they have. They want to solve the problem. Malaysia is one such person. And we have so many people like that. So Brahmachari is another guy who says, why should not a small farmer of half an acre, 1 acre also can have a tractor? Can you imagine? Can you imagine such hypothesis? Firstly, can you think of such a hypothesis where a marginal farmer with 1.5 acres also can have a tractor which should do everything what a big tractor does? Do you agree or is it possible? Okay, how many of you believe it is possible? Just raise hands. Madam, hats off to you. You guys are not even dreaming here. Kaab to karo, dream to karo. And this guy made it, my dear friends. You are hesitant to raise hands. You don't lose anything. This guy made it. He made a tractor of 4 horsepower. And Warangal district is close by. And it does everything what a big tractor does. I have a video. Today is bad day or sun is very bright. He goes on a tractor to the field. He drives. It does tilling, plowing, churning, harvesting, carrying loads of 1 ton, everything it does. It's like a cycle for a walking mobility. That kind of things we require. And it should be given in what cost? Affordable cost, 20,000, 25,000. The designer industry should keep a constraint on themselves so that appropriate and affordable things are provided to the people. Appropriate and affordable. Affordability is important. If you put on a lot of show off in this or some measures which are not required or high accuracy, affordability is a victim. So he wanted to give it for 20,000, 25,000. Imagine what a dream. When I drove it myself, I thought I'm an engineer, but I felt absolutely negative engineer in front of him. Now, such is a kind of a dream we must have. There's a kind of a inclusiveness of providing things to the people, 60% of the people, the right things, with all the skills we have, with all the energy we have, with all the willingness we have to do that. There's a guy in the Gadwal village. When the gas stoves are there prevalent in the villages now, even the small houses, and when they put off at the stove, at the regulator is not put off. So the pipe, if it's old, which is not generally changed, it leaks. And the invisible holes we can't make out, but in the villages, closed houses, when they come back and open the house and strike a match, there's a blast. And people lose lives because of the failure of the pipe or a technology which is not foolproof on the safety side. Now, who has given technology? We have given it. And whom we have given it? To the poorest of the poor consumers can use it. We call it, everybody should use it. Then we also should have taken the moral responsibility to provide a foolproof, safe technology so that lives are not taken. But that is not our responsibility. We shun that responsibility. So one boy came to me, Ishwak from Gadwal, as a 9th class dropout, and he helps his father in the mithai shop. He says, sir, look at the news item. One day he came agitated. He says, sir, how can people die? What is their fault? We should have provided correct technology. And he was so agitated. I said, what we do? Sir, I'll provide a solution. And within a month, he got a solution where you put up the stove, regulator gets stopped. And put up on, regulator gets on. Now the cost is 250 rupees. And what did he modify? He modified the stove which belongs to us, not the regulator and the cylinder because it belongs to company. But that's a kind of a solution. You save lives. One life he saves. I think we have done a big contribution. I think a clap to Ishwak is worth it. It is my right to appreciate good. It is your right to appreciate good. Whenever something good happens, please clap. And don't be follower in clapping for good things. Be a leader in that. Don't clap for me. Clap for those good things which are happening around society. This is my request. There is a guy, again, in fact, Gadwal only. I would like to bring out those sensitive things. Ishwak found him. You all know mirch powder. Mirch powder. How it comes, most of you do not know. In the villages, the mirchi is taken there, and then the machine is there which pounds. After pounding, the woman has to sieve, make it a fine powder which is put and given to the customer. Now the sieving, if anybody has done it fine, or do it at least for 1 kg, and you see the problem of sieving mirchi powder, chili powder. And this lady, the villages, each village has one such mirchi powder machine and a family, and the lady is a sufferer. And she was doing like this for ages, and husband was, nobody helped her. How to avoid sieving of daily 30-40 kgs because it's their livelihood. Imagine a lady does every day, again lady. We have most of the problems given to ladies in society. No, but the husband was very good for a change. He said, he loves his wife, a Muslim, Nazir Ahmad. I said, let me do something. For the same machine, he put a small linkage which oscillates like this. You understand engineers very easily. Same machine which is pounding, he put a small linkage which oscillates, and this lady nicely takes up, puts it in that, and that's all the sieving is done. Now, the people who have made the machine has not made this. But only the husband has, after seeing the suffering of the women, one husband did it, and all husbands are not so good as Nazir Ahmad. How do we horizontally provide this solution to all the villages across the world, across the country, so that no woman sieves mirchi powder, chili powder? How do we do that? It's not Nazir's problem. It's not Ishwak's problem. It's not Malleshwar's problem. Whose problem is that such a wonderful solution which take away pain, which improve the productivity, which increase the comfort, which brings happiness in society, how do we horizontally disseminate, or whatever the way we disseminate to them, so that they also get the benefit of such creativity, natural creativity? How do we do that? Question lies with you. You have to, we can discuss, or you can send us messages there. Then there is a boy whose mother was in the paralysis, and he and his father used to go for work, and mother was without light and without fan. He was again, I think, 9th dropout, and he could see mother suffering, that she can't put on the light, or she cannot even darkness, she has to crawl. So he went and worked in the nearest Mandal headquarters, in electronic shop, without paying or getting paid. After 1 month, he came and gave a remote to his mother. Amma, switch otko light ostadi, switch otko fan ostadi. So he put on switch, put on this, you get light and fan. He made a remote for his mother, and mother was happy. Clap, my dear. Nobody is clapping. You work for your mother and you don't clap? Now, we don't make remotes in the country. We get from China. Malaysia is the only one who made remotes, in my understanding. Just check up, no remotes are made in the country. This is our technology. And what a beautiful example of that. Comforts are required to the poor people also. There are also old people there. There are also in-cap people. We think comforts are required for the rich old people. Are we giving such comforts of remotes or something for the old people in the villages? How much it costs? Nothing. But we think about it. Now, same remote you go and buy in the Koti market, it will cost you 1,200 rupees. And he says, once you leave the shop, there is no warranty. That's what China. This boy sells at 350 rupees. And he sells to the villages and villagers. They all said, why only your mother? Why not my mother, our mothers? Now, that's a kind of a small impact he's making in the families. Now, he sells almost 300 to 400 per month. And today he is in India International Trade Fair in Delhi. He took 1,000 pieces. I'm sure he will sell all of them in Delhi. Then there is a person known as Narasimha. He is a fisherman by trade, by profession. Now, he is very good at anything in the water he can take out or put in. He is very good in the water. So he found hyacinth in the village, hyacinth Gurrabdeka, which is there, all our lakes we have. Now, that chap, he found a method to remove the hyacinth or any weeds from the lake. See, beautifully, I have wonderful pictures of that, and effectively, and very reasonable cost, without recurrence. Recurrence needs maintenance, of course. Anybody who lives in Arkepuram, nearby Arkepuram, Malkajgiri, please go and see Arkepuram Lake. Go over the flyover, Arkepuram flyover. On the right side, the lake is, you can see entire water. I have not seen the water for the last 10 years. Because of Narasimha, the entire water. Of course, GHMC gave an order. Credit goes to them for giving an order. But he cleans it. And who did it? Pallagyanam Patnam Vankochindi. Narasimha is from village. And his knowledge, when we connected, and Mr. Durga Prasad Garu, sir, ekkada meru. Durga Prasad Garu, he is the one who connected that knowledge of village to the city. And GHMC gives the order and he does it. Beautiful cleaning of the lakes. Any lake, any water body he cleans. We have no technology of that. We don't even see it as disaster. We watch and go. It looks green. And some NGOs start doing it. What can we do? But you have to find solutions that are available within us. My dear friends, I can go on like this, many things. What I'm saying is, we have minds everywhere. We have knowledge everywhere. We must use that knowledge by identifying it, capturing it, scouting it. It doesn't come to you. You have to go to knowledge. They say, knowledge has no legs. We have legs. Manaku kaallu unnai, jnananikku kaallu levu. Jnanam దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళాలి. We have to go to the knowledge. And that's a kind of a thing when we do. So we walk to the villages. We call it Shodha Yatra, where we walk to the villages. In the walk, we find these beautiful, excellent innovations and the beautiful practices of society. And that kind of things we try to capture from them with their permission, because they are the knowledge holders. We have to protect their IPR and take their permission, document them, then disseminate horizontally and also disseminate vertically by identifying a business entrepreneur or somebody who can, the government, we can disseminate it. This is what Pallas Sujana does under the spirit of NIF, what it does. And we also publish a magazine known as Pallas Sujana magazine, which in Telugu, and some of the copies are here, will be distributed. Those who read Telugu, kindly take it and subscribe for it. Today is free, not every time is free. And subscribe not for you, subscribe for the villages where they are. You give it to one village each, 2 villages each, 200 rupees per year. This knowledge is there in the Gram Panchayat. Knowledge is there in the village. The people will read. They understand the language of other farmer easily. They understand our language. So that contains only the language of farmers. We write the knowledge of the people, for the people, and by the people. So spreading the knowledge, connecting the knowledge village to village, palle to palle, raitu to raitu is what Pallas Sujana does. You can put in your hand there. So that by subscribing this magazine to all Telugu villages, 23,000 Telugu villages in both the states, they must see this magazine, they must contribute, they must enjoy. You can do that. We have covered only 3,000 so far, we can cover the maximum. Now what does Pallas Sujana does is we scout the knowledge by going to villages, Shodha Yatra, or many other sources we have, like internships we do it, they go to villages and find out. We also depend on the media, electronic and print media, where we get the stories, we go there and send our volunteers. And having done that, we document it with their permission. Then we do all activities of value chain like patenting, validation, engineering, re-engineering, then value addition. And then we also connect with the business environment. We get them patents. We connect the patents wherever is applicable. And the lots of achievements of our activity are not Pallas Sujana is a purely voluntary based activity. We'll just share that with you, that also with you. Now, having done this, biggest problem we're encountering is dissemination of these items into society. We need everybody's help in that. So far, we got about 12 Presidents of India awards for the people who are below 10 standard. And we have about 22 patents. And some of them are, there's one Rajan in Anantapur, Golla Rajan in Anantapur. He is an uneducated person. And he treats animals, all kind of animals. Somebody says, my cow is not bad, it is unhealthy. He doesn't listen on the phone or by talking. He says, let me see the animal. He personally sees the animal, decides what is the diagnosis, then he goes to the jungle and gets the herb, and then administers the medicine the way he wants, and then he visits the animal every 2 days, like family doctor. Invite or don't invite, he goes on till the animal gets okay, fine. Then he goes back home permanently. Now, he's doing this for the last 35 years in the area of Golla, near Kalyan-Durga Mandal, Anantapur district. And he's the poorest man. He does only this. He has no time for his own agriculture and farming. So we were fortunate to identify this gentleman. And we took his medicine, what he does for many, but a couple of them to the ICAR through National Innovation Foundation. And when they found it the best in the world. So they gave him a President's Award with 3 lakhs rupees. And a patent has been applied for him all over the world. European Union, USA, India, everywhere. So that, imagine mastitis. Mastitis is a disease we all have. And because of mastitis, we all getting problems. Because mastitis is the udder swelling, is mastitis we call it. Whether it is buffaloes or cows. And they administer hormone injections for that. And that comes to the milk to all of us, our children. Now he has a beautiful powder which can be just put externally applied 2 days, and 4th day you can get the milk back. It is validated, patented, so you don't have doubts about it. But most of the things what we say validated doubt. Otherwise, the question is, have you checked the first question science asks is how and why, but notwithstanding that, this is amazing doing. Now this guy, how do you ensure that he lives? He does so much advance to society. There's not even the government, a private, a trust looking after his life. Now he's old. He's older than me. How will he live? What we should do as a responsible society? How will take care of gentleman's comfort? Who will do this? No, these are the questions which come up. And now have we not connected this? Pallas Sujana volunteers are not connected with this. We should have lost such a great name for a country. Now, we don't know how many are there in the villages like that. Why should we forego? If we forego by not going there, not working on this, we are the losers, our children are the losers, our nation is the loser. What do you want to do with that knowledge? You want to recognize it, you want to identify it, you want to leverage it, and then see that your country grows on indigenous knowledge more and add on what we don't have. Then the development becomes cheaper, and sustainability will be sustained. Use less resources because you're not manufacturing day in and day out for exports and get technology from there. No, get technology from inside. Now, what are these products which they make in the villages? They are affordable products, appropriate products, and low technology products. Low technology. Now today in the college or anywhere, if I talk about low technology, they say he's an old guy. A project is done in the college. When he says, I want to do something very purely mechanical, he says, oh, this guy is a low grade guy. But you do with some nanotechnology or robotic, then he gets higher marks. So society, we look at higher technology. I think it's not fair. No country, no society can afford, no organization can afford only high technology. It's very costly, not sustainable. You must have all kinds of technologies. Let me share with you, I'm an army officer, I know about army. Army which is protecting you has 4 technologies at any point of time. The equipment belongs to 4 technologies, any point of time. The share varies. Cutting edge technology, current technology, obsolescent technology, and obsolete technology. Indian Army has equipment of all 4 technologies, and yet we are very happy that our country is safe. If that is, you believe it, all of us together without question, why not we have that in our society and make the cost less of living and our input costs can be reduced? No, we don't look at it this way. But grassroots innovators look at it that way because that's what they can afford. They can't afford more than this. They make these things with available things around them. And that is, they make it only appropriate because they can't afford luxuries. They don't need accuracy. 80% accuracy is okay with them. What is accuracy of plow? What accuracy of plow? But accuracy is less, but functionality is there. So if the functionality is of importance, accuracy is not there, the cost comes down. So when you design product farm equipment, you must make farm equipment for them, not for you to showcase international exhibitions. Or you want to have one for them, one for this. And also farm equipment, my dear friends, is made for nature. Farm equipment is using the nature. And nature is customized. Technology is standardized. How can standardization and customization match? There's always a gap. How can you do that? You can do when you customize, the technology is made for small regions. When you make for smaller regions, then it is easy for the efficiency or effectiveness of each farm equipment to be kept higher at all the places. We have one person, Mahipal Chari. He made a cultivator to be used in the dry crops. The frontage is 18 inches. Now what he does is, he makes it like a Rolls-Royce engine. Rolls-Royce cars. Rolls-Royce cars are done customized. You place an order, they won't start making it, they'll start making it after you go and tell your mind. It's not ready-made like any other cars. Mahipal Chari makes it Rolls-Royce. Any farmer asks Mahipal, I want a weeder, he says, come to Parkal, my village. He insists that you must come. You go to Parkal, and there he says, okay, I have a machine, you drive it in the field. Now, when the farmer starts driving, he feels, oh, our soil is not like this. And he has the habits, no, I don't drive like this. So his attributes and his soil attributes are, soil attributes are all put in that, and he takes his choices and incorporates in his machine, and each machine is made separately, customized. So the technology standardization is compromised there. And today he sold 62 machines, and not even one is similar to other, identical to other, all are different. So the effectiveness of all the machines are very high. And what happens? The input cost reduce. All these things reduce input cost of the farmers. When input costs reduce, why should I bother about my output costs? If my input costs tend to 0, I won't care what is the kind of output or kind of output price. We have to concentrate on that. Finally, I'll take 2 minutes more to close it. Yeah, our accountability is to grassroots innovators. We have our idea, our dream is to promote grassroots innovation, make it sustainable. Our working philosophy is that believe in the goodness of the people, because we work on volunteers, we don't pay them, we don't take money. Last 8 years, Palliser Sujana has been working with purely volunteers, almost 1,000 of them in both the states now, from all spectrum of society, from elders to the youngsters. They all come and work, and we wait for them to come. They choose the time, they choose the target, they choose the methodology, they choose the task, and when they do it 100%. Tell me an organization where 100% is done. In our organization, we don't put targets, we don't put time, they choose things and do it. And all the efforts of all these people is what I shared with you, the achievements we had. And so much there. We have an office here in Vayupuri. Website is pallisujana.org, pallisujana.org. And visit the place. All the innovations are there. You can see them and help us how to connect them to the society, how to take this forward, make life comfortable for the people in society. And real inclusiveness comes only you think about them with samvedana. And what is samvedana? Feeling others' pain the way they feel it. We have to be samvedana-sheel in our approach society. If you feel the pain like others, the solution is perfect or near perfect. But if you look at them the way you look at them, perspective, the things will change. Finally, I would like to say is that don't think about society which is not part of the formal system as a society which is not contributing to us. It has tremendous potential to contribute. I can share so many stories with you if you can, so to convince you about it. Secondly, include them in all our activities. I think we're not doing it. We talk about it, we're not including it. We're in the colleges or academia or anywhere, I think in politics, people talk about but not doing it in a big way. And third thing, we respect them. And if you don't respect them, the dangers are so much. I can share in the networking, say what kind of, when you don't give a solution to them, they make mistakes and the mistake is coming on to us, all of us. So please look after them, take their problems, and these are the ones which change when we appreciate them, when we promote them, the game changes. The game changes. That's why I called it game changing through grassroots innovations. Grassroots innovation can change the game in society in terms of providing knowledge to our economy, affordability, sustainability, rural employment, all positives come in if you do that. And added to it, use your technology. Then overall growth comes cheaper. And I hope in the time I take a little longer. Thank you very much for the opportunity. God bless you.